How big can I get my heart to be?
Thought Media Network proudly presents
How much love can I get flowing out of me?
The Real Talk Sisters. Deep, unfiltered, soulful conversations with Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, Reverend Kim Andrews, and Reverend Melinda Wood Allen.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Join us for Real Talk on Real Issues. Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Mountain. And now, let's join the Real Talk Sisters.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Hello there.
Hey, how are you?
We're good.
Good.
We've lost one.
All right, we'll be back. We come and go. We come and go. That's what the Real Talk Sisters do. You know, we just do our thing.
We're like magic. She appears.
Oh,
Hey, everybody.
hey.
It's nice to be here again.
It's so
Yeah.
good to see you again.
Always. Always.
Hey.
So, I'm Reverend Melinda Wood Allen from the Church of One Love in Dallas, Texas, and I'm thrilled to be back with my Real Talk sisters, my sisters with whom we talk really real.
Oh, yes.
We really talk about
Yeah.
really real stuff, and always thrilled to be with you two. So
Absolutely. Lovely to be here. And I'm Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, and I am the spiritual leader of Harmony Spiritual Center in Fort Worth. And just so glad to be here and part of the Real Talk Sisters. This has been a wonderful, wonderful time together. And I love it. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm glad we're here together. I'm glad all of you that are listening are here today as well.
Yeah. And I am Kim Andrews, spiritual leader at Unity Saxe in Saxe, Texas. And I'm also known as the quiet one of the three.
That makes me laugh. Yeah.
Okay. You didn't have to laugh that hard. But this is what we do with each other, for each other.
Yeah.
And we do the real talk. We always have. It's
Yeah.
not like we had to find a comfort level with each other. It was there from the start.
no, we just went deep right in the beginning. didn't
Right from the beginning. I don't think we know any other way.
And it has been a lifesaver for me.
Yes.
These six years, going probably 6.5.
Can you believe that?
It's
It's just shocking to me.
Yeah.
And I just love how spirit works. You ask, I mean, you sincerely ask and you receive. How big is your bucket? How big is a pail that you're asking for? And that's really interesting because we're talking about that today, about abundance and what you're asking for and how that actually works. So this is, I think our title is actually the Abundant Universe. What you see is, in fact, what you get. And so that's a great title. I love that.
Yeah, I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Lots to say about that.
So you had a great quote that you were sharing earlier.
Yeah.
Rumi. Would you share that right now to get us started?
Yeah, let me just do that. So he says, wisdom is like the rain. Its source is unlimited, but it comes down according to the season. Grocers put sugar in a bag, but their supply of sugar is not the amount in the bag. When you come to a grocer, he has sugar in abundance, but he sees how much money you have brought and gives accordingly. Your currency on this path is resolution and faith, and you are taught according to your resolution and your faith. When you come seeking sugar, they examine your bag to see what is its capacity. Then they measure out accordingly. So that's what we're here to talk about. What is our capacity and how do we raise that?
How big a bag are we bringing to the table?
Absolutely. How big is that bucket?
Yeah.
I don't know if I shared this with you guys, and I'm talking about this is such a great. I didn't even think about this one, but I've had a dream some years ago, and I use it all the time to think about and talk about abundance. And it was a really very vibrant dream, and I was on a football field, which right there was a clue that what's going on here because I don't do football. But okay, I'm on a football field. It's at night, and it is beautiful. It's green. It's lush. And there's just so many people out there with me. We're just out in the middle and it's all bright and lit and it's just beautiful. And the sky is just velvet and just blanketed with stars. So we're just all out there looking up at the stars. And there's one star that seems to be getting bigger and just getting brighter and bigger. And we realize it's actually moving and it's coming towards us. So it comes and it lands over the top of us. It hovers right over the top of us. And it's beautiful and brilliant like a Fabergé egg. It's just this beautiful jewel thing. And it opens up and it starts spraying like rain presents. They're just gifts. They're just flying out and they're just going to all of us that are out there, just everybody. And I'm just reaching up to the ones that come to me and I'm just pulling them down and putting them by my feet, just reaching and putting by my feet, reaching and putting by my feet. And then there's this woman next to me and she's got a small pile and I've got a big pile. And she looks at me and she says, "You're taking too much. Why are you taking too many?" And I looked at her and I looked at all the gifts that were just flying and I said, "Well, because they're coming my way. You can take as many as you want. Go ahead and reach out. Take more if that's what you want." And that was just just a brilliant dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had cool dreams like that.
But isn't that amazing? I actually went and bought this beautiful glass Christmas ornament that reminded me of that. And I put it up in my house to remind me of what abundance was like. It's up to me to keep accepting. I think we talked about this before the show came on. What are we willing to accept? We're asking for things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are we willing to accept?
You know, a big step on my journey in on the spiritual path and in abundance is that at some point I started tithing, and I don't need to go into the whole story, but I'll just tell you that it works. It always has.
Yes.
It's always amazed me. But well, a little bit. So I was a single mom and I lived paycheck to paycheck, literally. And so if my car broke down and it had a $100 repair, that was disastrous to me because I had enough.
Yes, that word.
I started tithing, and what I found is that maybe my car might break down for $100, and I'd think, "Oh no, what am I going to do?" And then I'd get a call, "Hey, could you sing at our wedding? We'll pay $200."
Hello.
You know, and
correct.
But for years, I really came to learn that Spirit had my back, that I could trust it, that I would always have enough.
Exactly.
But at some point I became aware that enough was my ceiling.
Right. Yes.
It never occurred to me that it was okay for me to have more than enough.
More. Exactly.
And at some point I went, you know what? I have subsistence consciousness. The farmer raises only as much food as he can eat. I had subsistence consciousness. I just need enough. Yes. And then one day I went, you know what, God?
Yeah.
If you want to give me more, I'll take it.
Yes.
I'll take more than enough.
Correct.
I'll take extra. I'll take not just surviving. I'll take thriving. I'll take not just being okay. I'll take joy.
Right.
I'll take, in all ways, not just in physical material abundance, but in all ways. Right. I realized how little I had been asking for most of my life.
And accepting, even if it was trying to come your way. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't, if I didn't have eyes to see it, I wouldn't recognize it when
there it is. Because again, we just said, we get what we see.
Yeah. So at some point I went, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for more. I don't think I was ready for more before.
Right. Right.
But once I said I was, then look out. It's amazing. It's amazing what happens.
Absolutely amazing.
Open our minds to receive.
Exactly. Yeah, it's important. I find myself now, as my consciousness is expanding about a lot of things, that you're talking about the buckets, I may show up with something in my mind with a smaller bucket and think, oh, I've stretched a little bit. And then I go, well, wait a minute. Why am I stopping there? Why not the whole enchilada, as they say? And then I go back and I get a bigger bucket. And then, I spend some time really thinking about what would I really, really love to have.
Correct.
Not just like you said, what will get me through this period or whatever I'm going through, but why not thriving? And what could thriving look like in this particular instance? What is overflow?
Right.
And I love that dream. You think if it just rain down on me continuously.
Exactly.
Not just through this season right here.
Just raining down
on me. That is just my existence.
Yes. Yes.
It's my life.
Yeah. It's raining down.
Abundance all the time. And so I just let my imagination go. And when I feel like it's my imagination, because sometimes we do have, I call them our glass ceilings.
Yes.
What we either deserve or what we're used to seeing in life. You get stuck there sometimes.
Yes.
And sometimes that's my prayer. Expand my view.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Expand my view.
We can get caught up on what our my imagination is just not as good as divine imagination. It's just, I can see this much for myself.
Right.
But I want, so expand my view. Make it larger than I can imagine. And truly, in many ways, my life is much more abundant, much more fulfilling, much more satisfying. And I mean satisfying as in yes, it feels so good to be doing what I'm doing. It feels good to be where I am doing what I'm doing. And that is not much better in life than to be able to say that I don't want to be anywhere else but here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So many times these days I have these moments where I just go, oh man, this is just amazing. And that happens a lot now.
Yeah. Yes. More and more.
Stop and I have these blissful moments and I think, oh yes, this is just amazing. And I still know that there's more than that.
Yes. Yes.
There's
always
more. There's always room for expansion. So
and I asked Spirit because I was raised with a mom who was absolutely fabulous, really. And she had a beautiful relationship with Spirit, with Jesus. Called him out just really, but she had this, her prayers and her thoughts were just in time. She prayed to a just in time God. Just in time, just enough, just in time, all of that. And so I've been trying to get, just let go of that because I know it's not a just in time God. I'm asked Spirit, I want to expand my acceptance of abundance. And I was fearful about it. Like, and sometimes I was going to turn into a whole other person if I had a lot of money. That was just in the back of my mind. I was going to become this other person. And I thought, why? How? Anytime you've ever had any money, you've helped. You've helped other people. You've gotten stuff for yourself. You've helped other people. So no, that is a thing in your past that you need to let go of. So I asked Spirit for help with it. And one of the things that Spirit has asked me to do is to name it, to say what it is I want, to name it and claim it. And that has been part of the fear. It's like, oh, I don't even want to say what, isn't that greedy? But no, so that's part of, so I guess I'm saying all this to say that it shows up differently for all of us. I think that part of the experience and the coming to know Spirit personally is what is going to work for you. What you just said, Melinda, about tithing, I've tithed my whole life because that's what my mom did. It never, ever occurred to me to not tithe. But it wasn't for me a thought about increase. It was just what you do. I believed in God. He's given me all of these other things. So yeah, you're getting minimally 10%. Minimally, you're getting that. But I still felt that there was this just in time situation going on. And so to change that, I just asked Spirit, and this is what he told me to do. So name it. Then look around and see what you want and tell me that's what you want. And that's part of my road to travel, my journey right now. And as I get further on, it'll be other things. But I feel like we have such power to be able to talk with Spirit and say, how do I get what I want? And just be completely instructed. Those are my thoughts.
That was your not 2 cents, $200.
$200 worth. All right. $200. $500 worth.
I love it. And one of the things that it's kind of a soapbox for me is making space, is making room. And I realized at some point in my life, and I ended up writing a song about it, which is still one of my favorite songs. I Made Room for Grace, about how if you're too afraid to let go of things as they are, if you're trying to keep things from changing, if you are afraid that the next thing might not be as good as the thing you have, so you should just hold on tight to the thing that you have. If you don't make a space, you don't even send a message to the universe that there is a void to be filled.
Thank you. Absolutely.
You have to go, wait a minute. I got to make a space here. I have to let go of this so that there's room.
Yeah.
Not just so that there's room, but so I am sending a message. Hey, I want something different. I want something more.
Exactly.
I'm willing for it. I'm willing to trust that the next gift in its skin will be as good or better than the gift I have now.
Exactly.
And that's what makes us able to let go and then open up this space that then spirit gets to fill. I don't even have to decide how big my bag is. I let God decide, you know, how big a bag you want to give me. You just want to rain it down all around me. I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just
That's
such a
why-
personal journey.
That's why we started packing at my house before we even
Hello?
found the house or listed our house, because we're sending that signal. Yep, we're moving. This
Exactly.
house is for somebody else, and that our buyer is somewhere out there right now. And when they walk in that house, I want to let them know
We're
we're
ready to
ready
go.
for you. We're
Yeah,
ready for you. Your house is ready.
Exactly. You come on in. Yeah, just come on in.
So it's been we've been packing now probably 2.5 weeks, maybe
Good for
even
you.
3, and we'll be listing on Friday. And
Excellent.
stuff's coming down off the walls. We got boxes stacked in the garage, and it's actually been fun, and it's helping me to move forward and be ready for it.
Exactly.
Because just like you said, you have to make space, and sometimes the space we have to make in our hearts, like
Absolutely.
you said, Melinda, for the new thing, whatever it is.
I remember, you guys know that, you know, I've recently let go of my PT Cruiser, and it's, you know, first of all, it was a 2004, and I've driven it all over the place, from here to California, San Francisco, just all around, is wrecked it, just that kind of stuff. And my friend Pat, who's on the line right now, she came and she saw my car in the garage. She goes, "That's got to go. We got to get this out of the garage. We don't need this. You need a new car." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." When's it? But I said in my mind, I said, "Yeah, I do." But where's that going to come from? That was, you know, my thought. But her point is exactly right. When I said to the universe, you know what? I'm donating. I'm done. I love this car. I'm going to bless and release it. And I actually call the people to come get it before I had a car to replace it. Because what you just said, Kim, make a space. And so in my mind and my heart, I called them up and said, yeah, come get it. I'm donating it to these kids. They can fix it up, whatever they want to do, or whatever they want to wreck it, whatever they want to do. But it's gone. Please come get it. And so that was just the beginning. So yeah, I'm right there with you. You do have to make that space. You're exactly correct. Exactly correct.
And Marlene just commented that Aretha Franklin has that song, "You're just taking up space where a good man can be." And I was telling you guys at some point about a friend of mine that I knew from before she was 18 years old. And her, when we would talk, she would call, and she lived in different states at various times, and sometimes she lived locally, but she would call, and it would always be the litany of what this guy that she, you know, was doing to her, and how she was unhappy, and how could we possibly change him, or how could we change ourselves to make ourselves more comfortable with what's going on.
What was okay? What is all right?
And what I kept saying to her was, "Listen, hun, Mr. Right is too polite to knock on your door as long as Mr. Wrong is living there. You've got to make a space. You've got to say, I trust that, well, nothing is better than just hanging out with Mr. Wrong. I trust that there is more good in the universe. I can let go of Mr. Wrong and make a space so Mr. Right can come in." And you know, the moment, I mean, she was almost 40 years old, but the moment that she went, you know what? It is time for me to just put these men out of my life and meet the world as me.
Yes.
With what I have, enough in myself. It wasn't 2 seconds before Mr. Right was knocking on her door. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know it. I know that for sure.
Not said, "I told you so." No, I am not that big a person. I was like, so.
We have so rare opportunities to be able to say that. We got to say it when it's true. When it's clear that is true. Right. I've been telling you. Oh my God.
We are about at break time, so why don't we take a short break, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks everybody for being here. Yeah, lovely. Right.
Talking about abundance this morning, an abundant universe. What you see is what you get. So what can you see in your mind's eye? How big can you open your imagination, or can you begin to see through the eyes of God?
Absolutely.
Here's I wanted to read Anita's affirmation that she uses. All of my needs are met before the need arises. There is always plenty to spare and plenty to share, pressed down, good measure, and overflowing.
Who
Love
said
it.
this?
Anita on the chat.
Oh,
On the chat.
nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks
Beautiful.
for sharing that one.
Well, you had some about 5 things that you wanted to share with us.
I
Melinda?
did.
Yeah.
I think Zoe, can you put them up on the screen? It's a workshop that I do about making room for the good in your life. And one thing is that we all get gifts that we're not using, and we don't even think to say thank you for, or we refuse when they come. So if you walk into an elevator and somebody says, "Oh wow, I love that dress," what do you say? "Oh, thank you." Or, "Oh no, it doesn't fit. You know, I spilled coffee on it earlier." What do you say?
This whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, compliments are a gift.
Yes.
And when
Good
you
point.
use them, that's a way of telling the universe, no, I don't need any more good. And offers of help. No, I got it. There's the universe trying to gift you a moment of rest, and you won't do it.
Right.
A compliment is the universe trying to gift you a moment of seeing yourself through someone else's much more tender eyes, often than ours are toward ourselves. And and when we refute it, we're saying no. So why would more gifts come if every time we're given a gift, we go, no, thank you. I got it. I'm fine.
And here's another thing about that. This is one of my favorite things to be talking about, because I know for me that giving and receiving is 2 sides of the same coin.
Same thing.
It's the same thing. And so we know how we feel when someone allows us, and this is what it is, allows us to give them something. Why would we then turn around and deny someone else that same blessing and pleasure?
Exactly.
Something.
So we know we block the flow by not being willing to give, but we also block the flow by not being willing to receive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the things that because my sister is you guys met her, she's a really great caterer. Oh my gosh, her food is it's so good.
It's delicious.
Oh my stars. And she is just such a giver. And so this past weekend, I think I shared this with you guys, maybe not, maybe I shared with you, Melinda, before Kim got here, but we had a great, we have a family thing we get together with, and we do a catering gig. And it's a whole family gathering that we work on her catering thing. And so, she wanted to pay. She was going to pay me. She's tried to hand me some money. Well, that's not the deal that we normally have. When we do a family thing, it's just family getting together. We don't get paid. But then she said to me, "No, this is for you. And I'm paying everybody because I got paid so well because you told me to stop, to allow people to give me what they want." And I was always underselling. And so she said, "You told me," and so does another client, "to raise my prices." So I did. And this is what I got. And now I'm able to give more to everyone. So it's just such a circular event. It's just so circular.
That's the way it works.
It is. And so I had to let her give to me. She has to let other people give to her. Then and receive. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love it. Also we have gifts that we are not using. We already have them and we're just not utilizing them. So what message does that send to the universe?
Exactly.
One of the things I ask audiences is, how many gift cards do you have in your wallet right now that you got at Christmas or your last birthday? And you haven't used.
Yeah.
What message is that sending to the universe?
Yes. And to the people that actually gave it to you.
Yeah.
To not only use all of your gifts, which I love that as well, but to give thanks. There's just something up to the whole gratitude thing. And I think you're going to talk about this a little bit later in the thing, and we'll come back to it. But we use the gifts. And even if it's not something that you felt like you could use right now, or that was something you would have done for yourself, the fact that someone thought about you, okay, it is a gift. That part, it's not about the thing itself. It isn't about that.
It's probably the most important thing about the gift.
Yes.
It's not the item itself.
No.
That somebody thought of me. That's what always touches me.
Oh, my stars.
They thought of me, and I always say that to them. Thank you for thinking of me. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's special. It's special.
Exactly. They had a lot of choices, and they chose you. So beautiful.
So number 3, know your worth. Raise your level of expectancy.
Woo.
That's what Pjae's sister did.
Okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just what I think part of the thing for many of us is that when we're doing something that we love, you writing songs, Melinda, you guys, us talking on Sunday morning, this is what we love to do. And it is so easy because it comes so naturally and joyously for us. It's hard to put a price on it. It's hard to put a price on because it's priceless to us. And so to all of you, you're giving, you have these beautiful gifts. People love it. And it's so difficult to put a price on it, but you are worthy to be paid for the work you do. That is a quote straight out of the Bible. You are worthy to be paid. And no one is going to, everyone who loves what you do wants to pay you for your gift. So we have to raise our level of what we think we're worth, what we think our gifts are worth, and what other people think our gifts are worth. And one of the things that I have a hard time with is, and I know the two of you will back me up on this, and part of this discussion is me to go ahead and get this out there, is that yes, I've talked about writing a book. I've written a couple of books, but now I'm holding back thinking nobody's going to read that book. It's it's crazy. I wrote the song, not me. I'm saying, I'm talking about you, Melinda. Yeah. I wrote the song, but who's going to listen to this song? So we have gifts, but now we don't think that the gift itself is worthy. And what are we saying to the universe when we say that kind of stuff? What are we saying?
Yeah. That I don't want it. I'm not worth it. I don't have room for it.
It's not a worthy gift.
Tag. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think, this raise your level of expectancy is tied to this. What do you believe about God and about the world? Mm-hmm. Do you believe that you live in a world that is opulent and abundant? Yes. And do you believe that there is a God that is beneficent, is there to give and to give infinitely? And because if not, there are some who are still stuck in this relationship with God where it's tit for tat. I have to give you something, I have to earn something.
Correct.
And then God gives me something back. And if God doesn't like what I gave, or God doesn't think I gave enough, then I'm either going to be punished, or I'm going to get less, or he's going to snatch away a blessing that I've already had. I've heard that before. And so if you have a picture of God and of the universe that is restrictive and punitive, then your level of expectancy is probably low.
Yeah. Yes.
And so sometimes we need to expand our understanding of God.
Yes.
If we're going to live more abundantly. Yes. And I was very happy to get rid of the tit for tat relationship that I thought I had. Well, I had it because I believed it, and that's what I saw in life, and that's what was given. Now, I came up in a much different household than Pjae, where everything was about, we can't afford that, can't afford that, can't afford that, can't afford that, no, can't do that. Often I would hear rob Peter to pay Paul. Oh, we got to do this, so we can't do that. So I had to reframe.
Yes.
Decades of that.
Yes.
And it did take work.
Yeah, it does.
It does take work.
This is not for the faint of heart. This spirituality is not for the faint of heart.
For those of us who are raised in more fundamentalist type religions, what we had to undo decades of hearing, God, you gotta earn it. You don't deserve it. You can't earn it.
You're not worthy.
You don't deserve it. No matter what you do, you still don't deserve it.
Right.
And even that word grace, I've had to make peace with the word grace, because what I was taught is that it's what God gives you, even though you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
and what I've learned is that grace is what the universe just showers on you for free and for fun. You don't have to do anything to earn it. All you have to do is be, because that's enough. You don't have to pay rent on the planet. The fact that you're here proves that you're meant to be here.
Yes, beautiful. Exactly. Exactly.
Is it, gosh, I forget his name right now, but he has the financial university. What is it called?
Oh, David, not David.
But he says all the time, better than I deserve. How you doing? Better than I deserve.
Hmm.
Better than I
Dave
deserve.
Ramsey. Is my Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, Dave
Yeah,
Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey.
He
This is
says that all the time, better than I deserve.
yeah, because that's what his followers obviously want to hear. But that's how we're raised with it. Just and money being the root of all evil, which is just and that's not even the quote. It's the love of money.
Love of money.
Not
Love
money,
of
it's the love of money. Yeah, exactly. So we're misquoting God, we're misquoting the Bible, and all of us living less. not even
Yeah.
understanding. Not even understanding.
You know,
Go ahead.
another thing about raise your level of expectancy or know your worth. Know your worth. For me, I look at my first marriage. I married very young,
Yeah.
and it was not a happy marriage. It was abusive.
Mm.
And when people talk to me now, I just can't imagine you allowing yourself to be in that kind of situation because I'm so different now from how I used to be.
Thank
But
God.
the way I explain it is I married someone whose view of me matched my view of myself, which
Boom.
is neither of us thought I was worth that much.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
That part right there.
Today, I'm married to someone who's really who thinks a lot more of me than I think of myself in a lot of ways. But I've learned to raise the worth of myself. I
Yes.
know that I have something to give
Yes.
to this relationship, and I know that I deserve gifts in return.
Yeah.
And then it's not a tit for tat. That's finally the raising of the worth and the expectancy is that each of us feels free to just shower gifts on the other because no one's keeping score because
Yes.
we trust
Yes.
that there's enough, that there's always more than enough for both of us, that I don't lose anything by giving something to you.
Right.
You can't lose anything by giving something to me. And that's the beauty of healthy relationships. But you have to know it for yourself before anyone else is going to agree with you. Somebody's
Absolutely.
not going to just pluck you up from like, oh, I see you're feeling really crappy about yourself. Let me be your Prince Charming and pluck you out of obscurity. But we were taught that.
Yes, we were.
We were taught that.
Yeah. And one of the lines that I love from Pretty Woman is when he asked her, he said, well, what happens when the prince saves you? And she said, you save them right back. We say, there's this is what we get to do. And I don't need to save him. I save myself right back. I save yourselves. That's a catchphrase. Save yourself. That's what you're hearing.
Last words reportedly were work out your own salvation with diligence.
Okay. I love that. Work it out.
It might be some work, but save yourself.
Now, I was sharing earlier that, I asked Spirit to help me with this abundance thing and to feel more like I'm deserving and let go of the thing that I was raised with. And so there's some instructions been given me, about being clear with what I want and things like that. The other thing that I'm being told is to stop looking at the conditions of my life. It's not about the conditions, meaning I have stopped looking seriously at my bank account. I've stopped looking at do you want to go, if I want to go do something, I want to pay for this, I want to open my business or whatever. The first thing I do is, well, how much money is in the account? I may have to wait for 3, 4. I stopped doing that. The thing that I do now is ask, this is what I want to do. Spirit, make the money show up, however it's supposed to come, because that's your job. My job is to decide what it is I want. Spirit's job, because the universe is abundance, is to let the money flow wherever it comes from. It don't have to come from my bank account. It comes from all different places in my life. Just like the fact that my sister handed me that $100. Like people, just the other day, I was talking to a girlfriend. She said, oh, I sent you a check. Oh, great. And so this is what's happening. So now I'm not looking at my bank account. I'm just knowing that the money's going to show up because all of us, if we all believe, and we do, that we are individualized expressions of God, then all of us are workers of God's work. All of us do God's work. So the money comes from all of us. The money comes from everyone. And whoever is listening to what God is telling them to do will respond. And if they don't, God will just tell somebody else to do it. And the money will show up. So I don't have to worry about that. Now, I'm not saying just spend your rent money. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I don't look at my account to make a decision about where I'm supposed to go, because I know that if that is what I'm supposed to do, the money will show up, because that's what this universe has said. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and it can even be that, I remember being stuck in, okay, I need to help me earn enough money that I
Yes.
can buy a car. Well, maybe somebody will give me a car. Maybe
How about that?
maybe it's not about me being able to pay for something, because things can come to us in a myriad of ways.
That's
That's
correct.
the universe, like you said. That's the universe working that out. Like you said, I just claim what I want. It might be a car. I want a new car, and then it shows up however it shows up.
That's right. So we don't have to tell spirit how to do it.
That's right. It doesn't mean that I have to have 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 suddenly.
Right.
And go get that car. It just might be somebody's, maybe I win a car. Maybe, who knows?
Who knows? We don't. That's not our.
Or an inheritance or a gift,
and maybe I get a promotion at work, and it's enough to pay to make a car payment.
Right.
It's all different ways. It doesn't mean it doesn't come from our work. It means it doesn't have to come from the limited means that we think.
That is the thing that we can let go of, the how.
Unlimited means.
Yes, we can let go of the how. If we truly know and understand the universe is abundant, if spirit said it's coming, it's coming. We don't even know how it gets here. We don't even know that. It's okay. Just what we need to know is be ready to say yes and accept it when it comes. That's our part. Say what we want, accept it when it comes.
And this is important. Be open to your good in all forms. You can get so, I love to use this phrase, you can get so like, I deserve a vacation. I am going to Galveston. I'm going to stay on the beach and be like watching for that bus to Galveston. I'm going to manifest the bus to Galveston. And you completely miss the plane to Hawaii, right? Because you get so focused on what it is that you need, or what you think you need, or how it looks, that you don't have eyes for the ways that God might present it to you.
Correct.
And so being flexible, being open, having the ability to look at a bigger picture. And one of my favorite things to say is the prayer under the prayer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that I need Galveston? Because that's what I was telling the universe. I was telling the universe I need Galveston.
But what were you really wanting?
That I need some time by the water to renew myself. I need some beauty. I need some warmth. I need some, what is it that we really need? What's the prayer under the prayer?
What are you really asking?
Really praying that, then we'll get the prayer under the prayer. Now, we might not always get the specifics of the prayer, but we will get what's under the prayer, our true desire. We'll speak loud enough that that's what will come to us. If we can see it when it comes, if we can know.
And I think one of the things you're saying, and I think we say in New Thought, and most of us do, is when we finish the prayer, this or greater, that opens our eyes up to the thing that's come, or it's come in a different way. This or greater. Yeah. And so that opens us up, and we're ready to receive. Correct. But I do think we need to name it. I do think we need to say, this is what I want. And it doesn't have to be in Galveston, because what does Galveston represent?
Right, exactly. What's the prayer under the prayer? I need a rest.
Correct.
I would prefer sunny beaches and beautiful clear water. Well, you're not going to get that in Galveston, probably.
Just saying.
Somebody was talking caca about Galveston the other day on television. Some sportscaster was like, yeah, they got a gift to Galveston. I'm like, what is wrong with Galveston? I'm going to Galveston.
Yeah.
You be quiet.
Nothing's wrong with Galveston.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Just nothing wrong with it.
So number 4, look for the joy in life as it is, and appreciate and enjoy what you already have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you may already have the answer to your prayer. Kim's got a story about that.
There's a husband sitting right next to me. Didn't know.
Oh, yes. Yes.
4 years. Oh, and then finally went, oh,
you.
Look at there. He's the one.
Been here all along.
Your good could be floating all around you, poking you in the middle of the day, saying, oh, right here, look over here, and you're just hyper-focused.
Yep.
Still got the old boyfriend that doesn't treat you right in the house, like you said. And yet the new guy who would just love to overflow some love and joy into your life, is all around there, waiting. And here you are messing around with the Yahoo, as my husband calls him, Yahoo.
Messing around with the Yahoo.
Messing with the Yahoo.
Oh my God.
When Mr. Wonderful is just waiting
Okay.
somewhere.
All right. I think we have a little break coming up.
Yeah, let's take a break
Yeah.
and
And then we'll come on back. Yes.
Talk
Wonderful
about
talk today.
gratitude when we
Thank
come
you.
back.
Beautiful. Yes. All right. Just kind of dancing through that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, no. The joy in life,
Yes.
even on commercials.
So that's that. Look for the joy in life and appreciate it. Because the key to joy is to look around and appreciate what's already here. And there's so much. There's so much that's already here. And when we're not thankful for it, why would the universe come and give us more?
Right. Yeah. One of the things that I love, is just have this meditation time, this morning time before I hit the street, before I get my foot on the floor. I just want to have some time with spirit so that I know that I recognize that voice in me and I know what spirit's saying to me and all of that. And I love to just look around, and as I'm praying and giving thanks, looking and seeing how all of the things I'm asking for is already in my life. It's already in my life. And just I love that. Just so I already have it. I already have so much love, so much joy, so much beautiful friends, beautiful partners in believing, just so much. And it just fills my heart with joy. So that I love the beautiful time, beautiful part of the morning time for me. This is knowing that. I already have it. Yeah, I already have it.
Make space for new good, number 5. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I often say during my talks, open your arms wide. Open your arms wide. Stop taking crumbs. Please, 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 begging for crumbs. Stop that. Stop that. Open your arms wide. And that more than your arms can hold will overflow into your life.
And if you're holding on to old, if you're holding on to what doesn't serve, if you're holding on to just a tiny little bit, then your fists are closed. You can't grasp what new good there is. But when you're so afraid that if somebody takes away this job, I'll never be able to pay for anything. So you stay in a miserable job instead of going, wait a minute, I deserve all kinds of good things. I don't know what they look like, but when we're so tightly grasping what we have at this moment, we're not making space for what's next, for what's bigger, for what's newer, for what's and it's about trust. We're not trusting that there really is more for us. And so it's training your mind to be able to trust that.
One of the things that a quote that Mary Madden Morrissey says a lot is, you have to ask a better question. You have to learn how to ask a better question. And so instead of saying, well, how do I get, $200, to pay to pay the rent or whatever, instead of asking that question, how do I get $200? How do I get a raise? Where I've got $1,000 more in my account. So it's not the bare minimum. It's the, how do I expand? So you ask for something expansive, not the bare minimum of what would just get you by. But Lord, how do I show me the way that I can make, that whatever happens, that I receive $1,000 more in my account, so that my life I have breathing space in my life with abundance. How do I do that? Show me how. So we get to, if our life isn't showing up, we're to make space. And so I think the question comes to me is, how do we make a space for new good? How do we make that space? Well, we ask a better question. A bigger question. Yeah.
I've been working with that a little bit. Well, I've shared before that my husband's on a health journey, and we're trying to figure out what is this underlying condition that keeps making these episodes happen. And I realized that I was praying or putting a lot of my attention on, let's find what this diagnosis is so then we can start treatment.
Okay.
And that's good in and of itself. And maybe that's the way good will reveal itself. But why am I praying for a diagnosis of what's wrong instead of opening myself to nothing being wrong
At all.
Mhm.
Exactly.
for him to have perfect health?
Yes.
I realized I have this fear that this is as good as it's going to get. And I had to make myself let go of that fear. Wait a minute. Perfect health is perfectly possible. So why don't I just allow that?
Yeah.
Not to reject what shows up. We'll deal with what is. We're very ready to do that. But why do I want to already limit what is before I even know what it is?
Exactly. Beautiful. That's a great example of making space for new good. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just opening up our minds and asking better questions, making a bigger prayer, a more spacious prayer, of what's possible.
So many stories of spontaneous remissions, of
Yes.
things happening that doctors don't expect.
Yes.
And they say, well, I see you've made this glorious transition. You've come here and now you're better. I don't know how it happened, but the tests don't lie.
Right.
And all of a sudden he's feeling renewed and refreshed physically and emotionally. And
Yes.
it's all better. And I think we stop because race consciousness is that, you start down this road and all, it's just going to be that. And
Yes.
just help me make it through. Help me make
Yes.
it through.
Yes. Yes.
And the doctor says the prognosis is, and I think we have to focus on, yes, the doctor's doing what they are trained to do, and they give a prognosis and they say this is what it's going to look like. But then we have to step back and say, and my consciousness, my understanding of God and of the world is that anything can happen.
Yes.
Anything is possible. So I'm going with the anything because that is far and beyond, and that power is infinite.
Yeah.
So what they're talking about is limited. That's about limitation,
Correct.
lack.
Correct.
That's about what we're used to having. Again, we got
Hello.
to make space for the good
Yes.
and raise our level of expectancy. Go back to number 3 now.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that we talk about a lot is the stories we tell. So we just get caught up in our story. And as long as we're telling that story, that's what we're going to see. Because back to the beginning when we talked about what you see is what you're going to get. Well, if we keep telling that story, so at some point we've got to let go of the story.
Yeah.
To make a space for new good. I'm still back on that one.
Yeah.
You got to let go of the story you've been telling.
What
What you did. You said, hey, we're just looking for a diagnosis. Like, let that go. What if there's no need for a diagnosis? How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
What is our means to abundant health?
Exactly. That's it.
We're open to whatever that is, however it shows up.
Exactly.
However it shows up.
So yeah. So if you think you're telling that same story, you in some way you've got to let that story go and create a new one.
And when I pray that prayer, I already feel I'm already more abundant.
You already know.
I already feel a loosening in my gut. I feel a loosening in my heart. I feel the lump in my throat receding when I go, wait, we're open to health in however it shows up. We're open to healing in whatever way that shows up.
Yeah. And I think that's part of number 6 too. Be open to good in all forms. Don't pre-decide how it should look. Yeah. So you ask for something and if the universe is abundant and God is everywhere present, I'm over here in the US. I'm not over in South Africa somewhere or Italy. I don't know what's going on over there. So how would I know what it looked like if I was to be there? If something from there came here? I have no idea. My point is, I have no idea what the whole world is capable of. I only have this very small view. So I can't pre-decide how it's supposed to look. And back to your thing about the Galveston thing and what was it? What was the prayer underneath? What did I really want? So I think we have to get to that. What is it your heart really desires? And then say that and let it then let it show up. Then let it show up. Yeah. Just
you're talking about stories. If we share those stories, people see all kinds of disastrous results from things. So if you say, "Oh, we're dealing with this health challenge," then people automatically say, "Oh, I know somebody has something similar. They're in a wheelchair, or they died."
Yeah, they agree with
later. Start hearing things, you're like, "Oh my gosh!" And so sometimes the first step could be just don't share that story. You may be saying it in your head, but don't say it to anybody else because they're
Nope.
sure will try to trump your story with something even better.
Mm-hmm.
So I got something that's even worse for you.
What is it about pregnant women that makes everybody want to tell their horrible birth story?
Unbelievable.
For 4 days.
I was a breeze. I didn't even know I was in labor. You know what I mean? Nobody tells that story. Yeah.
Nobody tells that story.
No.
Nobody tells
Always,
that story.
No. Always the horror stories.
And they're probably afraid to get slapped if they tell that story.
Because there's nothing I can do about it. Why would you tell me that story? Yeah.
I turned around and I went, ooh, and the baby was there. Yeah, that story doesn't happen.
Yeah. But it's possible.
Yes.
I know someone who thought she was having period cramps and went to the ER because they just weren't getting better and had a baby.
Yeah.
So did she have a miserable pregnancy? She didn't even know she was pregnant.
Oh, my goodness.
It's
Wow.
short labor. You just
Well,
never
I didn't know I was in labor.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
I did not know I was in labor. My sister insisted, no, this is you. I'm sure these are really. I don't think so. I think this is just bad. I got a low backache. That's all this is. No, this can't be it. Because I heard horror stories, so this is not the horror story that I was expecting.
Yeah,
this can't be it.
Right.
They're gonna send me home.
We only have 8 minutes, so we need to wind down, which means we probably only have 6.
Yeah. So do we want to do we do practice gratitude? Did we do the number 7?
Yeah.
It, but not
kind of what all of this is about. So practicing gratitude that's what I know is that just in wrapping up, this is my final point. When the proverbial whatever hits the fan, when the chips are down, when I'm as low as I can be, the one thing that that's my absolute go-to, and it always lifts me out of a dark place every single time, is to focus on gratitude. Because when we're in a low place, when we're in an undeserving place, when we're in a dark place, when we're in those places, we can't see that there's more. The moment we say thank you, we've opened a gateway that says, because what it says is, I see there's something good. Thank you means I recognize something good. And it leads to the next. I see something good. Yeah. And I promise you can start saying thank you right now for specific things that are in your life right this moment, not in the future, but right this moment. And say thank you for them one at a time. And you will not be done a week from now.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
It's always possible. And it's always, for me, it's always the way out. It's the way through. It's the way up. It's the way toward whatever is next, is starting with gratitude. So begin, end, and all the middle is gratitude for me. So thank you.
Yeah.
There's that scripture in Thessalonians. Again, people don't read it as it's written. It says, be grateful in all things. And people always kept saying it would be grateful for all things. That's not what it says. It says be grateful in all things. So you can be dealing with a family health crisis and find many things to be grateful for outside of the health issue.
Absolutely.
So you could be grateful for the fact that maybe it's bringing you close together, or you're bonding at a new level with Bob. And that perhaps, you're more open. You're talking about things you never talked about before. And there is this new level of connection for you to be grateful for that, but not saying, oh, I got to be grateful for the fact that Bob's sick. No, that's not what it says. Be grateful in all things and find something, anything. My mother was sick. I used to think, she had a stroke. And so her brain was affected. And I remember one day when it was just really hard, being thankful for the fact that I could think, and that my brain was working, and that I could determine my own life, that I could still make those decisions, that I had a free, and here I was watching my mother devolve, and that wasn't me.
Yeah.
That wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I had great friends like the two of you. We weren't together at that time, but I had friends at that time who just came and took care of me. I was grateful for that. I mean, they helped me move through that period with so much more grace and strength. And when I could let go, I could, because then they were there for me. They would just sit with me and hold me.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so I was grateful for that in the midst, as I'm sitting there watching my mother in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
And here I had this moment with a friend where they just really surrounded me, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what we felt, is surrounded by people who love us and are supporting us through it. It's
Exactly.
unbelievable grace,
It's unbelievable. It's amazing.
including y'all.
One of the things that as I move through and trying to, and whatever you're trying to do, whatever new challenge you have, not a negative challenge, but say you decide to do business or whatever it is you're trying to do. One of the things that I know is that gratitude puts me in this high spiritual state. It just puts me in a high spiritual state where I know all things are possible. And as I begin to just count off, just look around my life in so many areas, how many things are beautiful and how many things I have to be grateful for, it almost brings me to tears about how beautiful the life is, no matter what is going on. And whatever I think is going on just lightens up because I have so much. So if if you're feeling low or you're feeling like things aren't quite working your way, or this is to just go into a spiritual state by looking at all the things you actually do have. From just breathing right now, from just having a computer to be on this call so that we can all share our thoughts together, just to be in this spiritual community. So much to be grateful for. I'm grateful to you two, and to all of you who've shown up today. This is one of my favorite things to talk about, is the abundant universe. Thank you. Whoever it was, I think it was you, whoever came up with this title. Great.
You
Yeah.
probably have another minute. So quick thoughts, I think for me, that what I've started doing, this is my new practice. If I'm afraid to say it out loud because I think it's too much, that's the thing I say out loud.
Very good.
Even if I have to go in the room and close the door because I don't even want Quentin to hear, my husband to hear.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure yet. And then I go and I just say it out loud.
Yeah.
And then I might say it again and again until I can start feeling it in my body.
Yes.
I feel my spirit lift with it. And then I go, oh,
Yeah.
I'm asking for that.
There it is. There it is.
So, yeah, that's where I am now, expanding getting a bigger bucket, baby.
There you go.
Bigger bucket. Woo! That's a good saying to end on. Let's all go get a bigger bucket.
Dang right.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, everybody, for being with us. We're at realtalksisters@gmail.com and realtalksisters.com if you want to look at our website.
Thank you.
Great to be
Have
here.
a great week. Thank you so much
I
for
love
being
you.
here.
Love you.
Hey.